Hey guys, it's me Clarissa here on Clarissa Says, where Clarissa says it all and that's how it feels. We're back with another video. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, thank you for joining us today. And yes, per the title, we are talking about Juneteenth. So, for those of you that do not know, Juneteenth is a federal holiday celebrating the final succession of freedom from slavery. In 1863, Abraham Lincoln, during the Civil War, released the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically ended the Civil War and then basically gave freedom to all slaves in America. And so from the time of 1863 to 1865, we as Americans were pushing the mission to free all slaves. Now, not all areas actually went and freed their slaves or gave them the option to be free, because not all slaves wanted to leave their homes. And yeah, you can say, well, they're in slavery, or I want to leave the plantation. Some plantation owners were very, very nice, and they treated their slaves like family. They didn't even call them slaves. They didn't treat them like cattle. They were their workers. And not all, slaves, as they call it, were slaves. There were some that were indentured servants, etc., etc. And there were some, of course, that were living on these plantations for years and years and years and generations. And so that's what they knew as to be home. And they were, not all gonna hold to leave, something that they knew to go out into the world of what's next, But of course, some had really harsh conditions and they were like, deuces, let's get out of here. We'll start a new life. Let's get new things, which I was like, I should say, which I was, when you learn the history, it brought me to feel joyous that, they were able to be freed and we're able to be free now in America as African American people. That's what I'm saying. That brings me joy to know that we were able to fight for our freedom and, we were given our freedom. Okay, so with that being said, that was January 1st of 1863 when Abraham Lincoln put that into effect. Galveston, Texas, y'all. The South is racial. Okay, I'm gonna say racial. It's a racial place. Okay, and so Texas was literally the last state to still have slaves, acting slaves, like slaves that just did not know that they were free, and if they did know, their owners were not letting them go. So on June 18th of 1865, there was a platoon, a group of 2,000 troops, okay, that went and marched on Galveston, Texas land, and basically they succeeded with getting the slaves out of the plantation and the owners hold, and that was the last area to gain official freedom. Okay, and in the official ending of slavery was that day. And so in America, as of 2021 on June 17th, by Biden, he officially passed it to be an official holiday. Now, since the 1800s, our people have been celebrating this day because that's a very, very, very iconic day. That day ended slavery completely for everybody, and everybody knew, and that just turned a whole new leaf to existing its extent for the African American people. Now, I do want to say this, to talk about slavery, not all African American people during the time of slavery were slaves. Not true. Not all African American people were indentured servants, and not all African American people were put to work in fields. There were a lot of affluent African American people that had businesses, had their own indentured servants, had their own slaves, had money, were just like other plantation owners. And not all African American people are from Africa either. So some of the people were here on this land as native or American natives. They don't talk about, you know, all of the tribes that were my complexion that had to go and join with, you know, the indentured servants and the slaves and people like that to survive during the time that, you know, they came over. When I say they, Christopher Columbus, the Spaniards, you know, came over and took over America. So you got to do your full history. But on the simplest of the simplest plane, Juneteenth is to celebrate the freedom of Africans, American people, and the official end to slavery. And so, like I was mentioning, on June 17, 2021, Biden went ahead and put that into effect. And so, for those going forward wondering what is Juneteenth, why we celebrate it, it is to celebrate you, your freedom, your heritage, your culture, the journey of being here in America and being able to be a free African American here on this land. Like, it is very important to know your history and to know where you're coming from. That's why I even added the other little details, because we don't talk about these things. And it's true. We weren't all slaves, you know, but they make you think, well, they don't teach you all the history that needs to be taught. And so if you guys want me to do a video talking about, you know, just African American culture or American natives, because again, everybody wasn't just Seminole looking, you know, like Europeans. We had other tribes, like Chickawaga tribe, Blackfoot Indians, etc., that they don't really talk about and express because they had to join with other you know, people to survive. That's what happens. And a lot of the darker complexion Indians were automatically considered African American when they were put into the school systems. So even for those that didn't have to go through the whole issue of slavery or, you know, going and connecting with indentured servants or other type of, you know, slaves, etc., the American natives, like Cherokee Indians, for instance, Cherokee Indians, there are a lot of African American people that are Cherokee Indian, but they consider themselves African American because, you know, they identified themselves with the African American story of being held as a slave. But in reality, they really were considered African American because of the system, the school system. You know, basically the school system said that if you're darker complexion, then you're automatically African American. That happened to a lot of people. So just like that, you lost your heritage and you lost your history of being Cherokee Indian. But like, you know, a lot of African American people know that they are Cherokee Indian. Like if you're Cherokee Indian, a lot of us know, but what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? What is the history? Like, I know my history of my American Native history due to my great grandmother. Like literally my great grandmother. Listen, it's a lot. Okay, it's a lot that goes into all of this because after slavery, you still are, you know, having generations and generations of people. And so you got to think these things through. Segregation and integration was just the other day. Literally 1953, my dad was born, and he remembers the sinks, the two different water fountains and the bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. So these things that we're talking about seem so far away, but at the same time, they were just so close. So yeah, if you want to know about that, let me know. But in all hindsight, you know, it is what it is. We made it through. I thank God because it was a struggle. And yeah, that's what Juneteenth is. So I want to talk to you guys about that real quick. You know, I like to talk. If you're new to my channel, now y'all know I like to talk. I will talk about two different things, but I'll get back to the main topic. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please let me know. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Leave comments down below. And yeah, I did have a baby recently. My brown skin girl has been born. So if you guys want to check out that video, please let me know. It should be linked down below or the video before this. You can check that out to see my birthing vlog. But yeah, that's what Juneteenth is. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe and share. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.